The Viking raids and why they were so successful. The Vikings were a group of people that existed from 700 AD to 1100 AD. The Vikings were blacksmiths, fabric makers, potters, fishermen, warriors, sailors, leatherworkers, and more. Vikings originated from Scandinavia, which is the countries of Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. In 1904 to 1905, the so-called Osberg ship was discovered in a barren ground in Vestfold country, Norway, turning our picture of Vikings from bloodthirsty pillagers to an intelligent and complex culture. First point, how uneven the fights were. The Vikings had the upper hand in almost all their battles. The Vikings were trained mercenaries from a young age, such as Eric the Red, Eric Bloodaxe, Bjarne Ironside, Ragnar Lodbrok, and many others, and their opponents were generally people who had never even picked up a sword before in their life, which immediately puts them at a huge disadvantage. The Vikings also generally attacked coastal regions such as Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, which meant they had more options on where they could attack from. This also meant that even if the place they were planning to raid knew about it, they still couldn't cover all the coastline for when the Vikings came to raid them. This is one example of how carefully the Vikings planned their raids. Second point, Viking longships. Viking ships were successful in raids because of their shallow draft. This shallow draft meant two things. One, it meant they could appear out of nowhere with little warning or sound. Stealth was important to the Vikings because without it, it would give the people they were attacking time to either prepare to fight back or to prepare to abandon the village and run away with all the loot. As well as successful travel at sea, longboats could also travel upriver, which meant they could also lay siege to riverside towns and cities with ease. This such event happened at the Siege of Paris, March 845. In building a Viking ship, there are a lot of differences to normal ships, such as all Viking ships are clinker built. This involved the planks being overlapped at one end, then riveted together. In clinker building, you would build the outside first, then put a frame inside after, rather than in traditional English shipbuilding, where the exact opposite is done. Third and final paragraph, Viking weapons. During raids, English people in the Middle Ages were virtually defenceless against Viking raids, as they were mostly monks, farmers, stonemasons, builds in a sense, and carpenters, meaning most of them had never even seen a longsword, let alone own one. As trained mercenaries, Vikings had a wide assortment of weapons that they used to raid with. Today I'm going to talk to you about the three main weapons they used: the mace, the longsword, and the axe. When we think of a mace, we think of a spike ball attached to a chain, attached to a stick. This is completely wrong, as you would be just as likely to kill yourself as to kill your opponent. The real mace consisted of a stick attached to a metal wheelcock and was essentially used as a club to bash people to death. The longsword was used by the Vikings to slash, but mostly to stab people to death. There is yet another myth surrounding the Viking axe, as there is no such thing as a double-bladed axe that we for so long have associated with the Vikings. This is because the weight of the axe in the hand would be off balance. Viking axes were used to hack off body parts and stab, sometimes.